And we move on now to the next group, which are the academia. And I first pass the floor to Ν.Διέτης from the University of Cyprus. Nicholas, please go ahead.
Thank you very much. So first of all, I would like to convey our warm congratulations to everyone at the agency and outside of the agency for organizing this event and for taking the wise decision to inform the European citizens and ask for feedback. We believe that asking for feedback is the first part of building trust between parties, but the second part, which is equally important, is what does one do with the feedback received? So how is one going to integrate important pieces of this feedback into one's decision-making process? And of course, communicating this output back to the public. So we would very much like to see this happening here. Listening to the intervention so far, one can understand that there is a high degree of overlapping points, such as the concerns regarding the safety of the COVID vaccines, the expectations of transparency in the approval process, and the value of accurate communication to the public regarding the benefit of these vaccines. So in order to save time, I won't go over the same points myself, but I would like to highlight just 3 important points. The first point is the quality of information provided in the approval decision documentation of the agency to the public and the health professionals. The quality of information. Looking at the bad example of the MHRA documentation for the vaccine, for the Pfizer vaccine in the UK, we wouldn't like to see similar limited information in EMA's decision. We know that there are limited data in vaccine trials for certain populations. We know that there are unanswered questions about a vaccine's efficacy to avert infections. Repeating these unknowns in the approval decision document won't help health professionals or the public. We need to know for each of these unknowns what is the agency's recommendations. We trust the agency and we trust the high standards of the approval process, but we need to see all of these points translated to explicit, clear and concise recommendations and risk-benefit assessments by the agency. A simple sentence like, talk to your doctor before taking the vaccine if you are in this population or the other, won't do the full job because medical doctors don't have access to all the data in order to make the right decision for their patients, which brings me actually to my second point. Access to all the information and data included in a company's application for approval. Not only that of clinical trials, but also those in preclinical phases. This is not just an issue of transparency and openness. Access to data provides the tools and ammunition to scientists in order to make assessments and critical appraisals, using this knowledge to convey simple and clear messages to the public. Science communication is very powerful in times of emergency. Scientists and academics, such as myself, communicate with the public daily, answering questions, addressing concerns. We cannot do this efficiently for the benefit of society if our information is based just on the company's media statement or scientific paper with limited information. So it would be very positive to have access to the rolling review data and reports and the conditional marketing authorization data. Finally, I would like to emphasize the post-approval surveillance system, and I thank Peter for addressing this in his presentation. But we know that some EU countries have limited national surveillance systems, not just for safety issues, but also for efficacy data, such as the duration of protection. We will be gathering real-world data on the vaccine's performance, so we need to oversee national systems that will be used for safety and efficacy monitoring. We need the highest European standards implemented in the national surveillance systems in each EU country. We need to know how quickly can these systems inform the EMA and the companies in order to take swift action. And finally, we need to know how will the ECDC and the EMA work together over these surveillance systems in order to inform efficiently the public about the safety and efficacy. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Nicholas. And I think you have a very well elaborated message highlighting all the different aspects that need to be addressed. It shows once again the very complex challenge that we all have to face, not only in authorizing these vaccines, also in following up these vaccines, in the transparency, and as I mentioned at the beginning, and in building and maintaining that the trust of everyone in throughout the overall process. So thank you very much for highlighting this.